Thanks to the support as a channel member, Tim Stoker. We are the champion. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm singing that so well that we're in very real danger of a copyright strike. Thank you for calling me out on that, Mrs Wearmouth. Transfer special time. I know you're giving me £80 million to spend. We talk about this every summer. I can still only buy 18-year-olds, right? Yeah, thought so. I mean, I'll see what I can do, but I think this squad that we've got, we don't need to add much to it to win the Champions League. We're nearly there. I think the real priority for this summer is trying to convince the want-away players that they should stay and making sure no one else decides they want to leave. I don't necessarily think we need to bring anyone into this first team. It just won the Premier League. I don't know if you heard. Welcome to part 160 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special off the back of winning the Premier League. There's your final Premier League table again. I'm never going to get tired of looking at that. 7 points clear of Manchester United, 20 points clear of Liverpool, down in 5th place. Slam dunks Arsenal did make it into Europe. In the end, it looked like they were struggling. And Norwich, the team who have been chasing Park for 2 years, only managing a 7th place finish, despite all of the money that they've got. See, money doesn't buy you happiness. You need loads of Wonderkids for that. And apparently it's still possible to pick the wrong ones, even if you have all the money. We've got £80 million to spend. We've got Kovacic and Park still wanting to leave the club. And there's not really anything we need to bring in to strengthen it. I think this team is there or thereabouts. Centre-back wise, yeah, I mean, we could do with an extra centre-back, but we've got Hannah coming through, who's just got runner-up in the Next Gen Award, so he can slot into the squad. I mean, we will always apply the Ola Richards rule. Remember, he also got runner-up in the Next Gen, so it doesn't mean anything. Fazekas is a former Next Gen winner, and is at age 26. He's never likely to be a regular starter for us again, so it doesn't necessarily mean anything. We could potentially try and stick Abagai back into that defence, but at this point, he'd have to be coming in as a centre-back, not a right-back, because I don't really want to go anywhere other than Vinicius Antonio as my right-back, as long as he doesn't get led astray by some of the bigger clubs interested in him. I think he's my long-term right-back, my forever right-back. Primus probably on the left, unless Kovacic sorts his head out and decides to stick around. And then we just need people to step up in the middle. It's very unlikely we're going to bring in an 18-year-old centre-back now who's going to be starting in this team by the time we win the Champions League. So it's likely to be some combination of these 5 defenders are going to be our centre-back partnership when we get to that point. We're going to be slightly weaker at the back than we are going forward, where obviously we've got a number of world-class players, and Juan Jose apparently better than Veloso. I love that, because Juan Jose, playing as a striker, has got 3 goals this season. Veloso, playing as a striker alongside him, 45 in all competitions. But Juan Jose he's such a creative force, such an impressive player for us. I think he's full on homegrown as well, because he was an ever-present for us ever since he arrived, pretty much. So club form merits an international call-up. 7.13 he's averaged this year, 13 assists as well. He's just never going to be an out-and-out goal scorer. That's not what he's in the team to do. Someone said in the comments the other day, Kev, you need a 10 in this team. We have a 10, just there. Imagine he's playing there. We just have to start him from there and have him drift back, because it works better in the match engine than starting him here and having him push forwards. Think Connor Roberts playing there forever and never really achieving anything for us. Juan Jose is basically playing the same role in the same position, just officially playing up front, and he's incredible. 4-star player. Lovely, lovely stuff. Veloso still not even classed as world class, though. He is this season's version of Christian Gomez. He's scoring well beyond his means, and he's not actually a top tier player, apparently, even though, the last 3 seasons, even the one before when he only played half the season, 27, 30, 33, 3 years in a row, Premier League Golden Boot, just like Gomez did for us. But apparently he's not an elite player, not a world-class player. I don't understand it. But the key point of going on this screen was, I don't think there's necessarily anything that we need to bring in to upgrade. If we have a look at who's available as under 18 players that we've got scouted. There's no one with more than 2.5 stars of current ability. There's some players who are going to be awesome eventually, but I mean, and we'll bring some of those players in. We're not just assuming we're going to win the Champions League in the next year or two and starting to think short term. We still have to plan long term in a save like this, but don't expect a load of new players to be in that first team on the first day of the new season. Because if you think about it, I mean, I know that was the backup, but even that as backup players, Primus is the only one who wasn't here the year before. Everyone else was at the club previously. So there's not a lot of players. In fact, should we get into the season review? Because that will show us the players who came in last summer and how much of a limited impact they've had other than Primus, who has developed faster than I thought he would. But then we did pay absolutely top dollar for him. He was expensive. So there's your season review. Confirmation we are Premier League champions in the 2039 season. These were our signings from last summer. So we got the defender Scarabatoli in, who went out on loan. And we got Javier Camacho, who barely played. Madness has come in and barely played. Sir Harrison Davies returned to the club and has barely played. So of the players who came in last summer, we only signed 4 players last summer and then brought Davies in after the window had closed when we realised he was available on a free transfer. Only Primus came in and played football and actually has been pretty good. 19-year-old English Wonderkid, but we paid through the nose for him. £68 million. He's our club record signing for an 18-year-old left-back. But 32 games for us, only averaging a 6.92, but you know I don't read too much into those average ratings. And I do think Madness and Camacho will go on to be absolute superstars for us. But just, I mean, and it might be that one or both might force their way into the setup this coming year. But the point I'm making is it's unlikely for anyone who comes in this summer to immediately step into the first team. We're not there. That's not what we do anymore. That's not how it works anymore. Primus was a little bit different because of all the issues around Kovacic, meaning that we gave Primus a lot of football, plus the experiments with playing Kovacic at centre-back led to Primus playing more games than he probably would have done ordinarily as well. So, moments to remember. We were supposed to qualify for the Europa League, but we won the Premier League with 99% of our capacity as our average home attendance. I will try again for a new ground or a stadium expansion this summer. We tried last summer when we pretty much filled the ground all year and Mrs Wearmouth wasn't having any of it. So we will have to see. Veloso, of course, top scorer in the Premier League table. It's just a thing of beauty. I want that framing and putting on my wall. There's your big matches of the season. I mean, sometimes I forget these things happened. That shows how close we are to winning the Champions League, though. They knocked us out in the semi-final last year. This year, we beat them 5-0 away with not world-class Veloso grabbing 4 goals away from home against them. Absolutely insane. Reputation-wise, we have now made the jump up to 4.5-star reputation. I've been talking about this for a few summers now as being hopefully the tipping point to convince players they don't have to leave to go to a bigger club, because there aren't really much in the way of bigger clubs anymore. I hope that means we're not going to have any new players have their heads turned. What I'm not sure on, though, is whether or not it will convince Park and Kovacic to stay. We might have to let one or both of them go, because I do think the issues, particularly around Kovacic, are what cost us in the Champions League this year. We had too many moments where we just didn't turn up. Big players didn't turn up because a senior player who came through our youth system decided he didn't fancy it anymore. Money-wise, everything's a little bit down because we only got to the quarter-final of the Champions League rather than the semi-final this year. So all of those drops can be attributed to not going quite as deep in the Champions League. But sponsorship is up, which is a good one because that's independent of all this stuff, which is splendid. We sold over 500,000 shirts this year, and Park is our top shirt seller. That's another reason to put into the mix when we're considering selling him, of course. With him being South Korean, it does create a huge Asian shirt buying market, which is always talked about when you sign in high-profile Asian players. That's another thing to take into account. We sold 500,000 shirts. We made we did only make 5 million in shirt sales. It doesn't make that much of a difference, I guess, but it's all about raising this. You do this, more of this, and this happens. Veloso second, then Perez, Jovanovic, Juan Jose. Interesting to see Jovanovic on there as a top shirt seller, as a player that I don't really use a huge amount, probably not as much as I should. So this was our team of the year. Perez in goal, a back four of Primus, Erkan, Elias, and Vinicius Antonio. Really interesting to see Kovacic making it into Team of the Year. Really underlines just what a disastrous season he's had. We are not going to be selling him for £160 million this summer, I don't think. After turning it down last summer, we might just have to cut our losses and decide we're going with Primus. I'm not that likely to do that, I don't think. I like to stick to my guns with these things. I'll try and turn him around and convince him to stay. McKenna and Perez in midfield. Ian and Park out wide. Veloso and Juan Jose up front. Let's not ignore the fact as well, just people are constantly talking about how Kleber should be in the team ahead of Ian. Ian, 18 assists, 14 goals from the left-hand side, has outperformed Park when it comes to goal contributions. They've got very similar average ratings, which I know some of you love an average rating. Ian is great, just because he's not, and I don't know what it is that makes him less exciting than Kleber. He's like a year older. They were both Brazilian Wonderkids. Is it just the fact he's not a 6'4" monster? Ian is great. And I would argue, if you move outside of Veloso and Juan Jose, probably our most significant player when it comes to goal creation and just winning football matches. And he played 46 games as well. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't get suspended. He doesn't get injured. Cue him breaking his leg in the summer. But he had more time on the pitch than anybody else over the course of this season. And he's been awesome as a result of it. 20 assists for Juan Jose as well. Absolute insanity. And these are all of our awards. I won lots of Manager of the Month awards and Manager of the Year. I should hope so. Winning the Premier League with Home. Club awards, Veloso's going to win a lot of this. So Veloso gets Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year. Still only 22, Sandro Veloso. Camacho gets Signing of the Season. I'd probably give that to Primus. He's the only one who came into the first team. Park gets Goal of the Year. Top scorers Veloso. Most assists is Juan Jose. Most man of the matches goes to Veloso, as does highest average rating. And Diego Perez in with the best pass completion. Still only 24, Diego Perez as well. Competition awards. Veloso won the Champions League Forward of the Season. He also won the European Golden Shoe. He won the Premier League Golden Boot. Veloso, he's quite good at football. And he's broken a couple of club records as well. And we already talked about him breaking the record for most league goals by a player, 109 now, breaking Micah Beereth's record, which I think was at 88. So Veloso is now our all-time top goal scorer. He's also set the new bar for most goals in a match with 4 goals. Juan Jose has set the record for most assists in a season at 20. Surely there's not still people around who don't rate Juan Jose. He is our Bergkamp, and it's awesome. Our oldest player, Sir Harrison Davies. I wonder if he now has the record for oldest and youngest player. That would be awesome if he did. And Azad Primus, highest transfer fee paid at £68 million. I suspect we might break that again this summer if we decide to go for someone who's going to make a real difference to pushing us over the line in the Champions League. So our all-time best 11 then, it's still got a very familiar look to it. Veloso, Park, none of these guys are making it in. This is the team that got us here. It's going to be a long time before the team that is now here usurps these boys, I think. Williams in goal. Fazekas, I guess, has made it in. Fazekas at left back. Charles, Davies and Curry as the rest of the back four. Is Nathan Curry a coach yet? No. Hodgkinson and Hamilton in midfield. Is Kieran Hodgkinson a coach yet? No. Kenlin Richardson out on the left, Renan on the right, Beereth and Jessup as the front two. Ali Bassick, Park and Veloso have all made it onto the bench now, as has Captain Cartwheel himself. So I guess it's slowly but surely starting to get some of the current guys involved. I find it really hard to believe that Veloso doesn't get in ahead of Beereth or Jessup, though. He's been our main striker for 4 years. He's scored more goals than Beereth did. Jessup was a one-season wonder. Sandro Veloso should be in that team. It's ridiculous that he's not. Right, anything else that we need to check in on here? What's Mrs Wearmouth looking for from this season? Just a top half finish in the Premier League and first knockout round in the Champions League. I feel like she's not been paying attention to how good we've got. Team leaders are still Williams, Perez and Park. See, Park being a team leader is unhappy, is problematic, although it doesn't seem to show. Kovalic's not even showing. Oh no, Kovalic is a highly influential player. We need to sort them out. That is priority 1 for this season. Sort those boys out. Right, we want to... I mean, it seems ridiculous that I can't tell them we want to win it again, because it'll upset them. We've just said top half, so we'll say top half, and they're pleased with that. This is broken in Football Manager. It needs fixing for FM22 because their expectations are too low, and we'll upset them by setting them realistic expectations. It's crazy. But I say it every summer, and every summer we just have to play the game, and it all turns out okay. Right, so this is what Sam Swan, my personal assistant, thinks our best 11 is. Interesting that Sam Swan has Kovacic at centre-back alongside Elias, Much alongside McKenna in midfield, Kleber on the left. I'm not sure I agree with some of those calls. I mean, Perez would probably argue he should be in there. I'd argue Kleber may be there and Ian up there. And obviously Kovacic, apparently he's a 4-star defender. Is he our best centre-back? We've played him there a few times in videos now. Do you think Kovacic is our best centre-back? We're going to go to China for our pre-season tour. Liverpool want McKenna. Monaco want Kovacic. They can all do one. We're just going to give Veloso his pat on the head for winning all of his bits and pieces that he's won. I've won Manager of the Year. Mrs Wearmouth's happy. Lovely stuff. Premier League Team of the Year contains Perez, Elias, Vinicius Antonio. That's brilliant in his first season for us. McKenna, Park and Veloso. A couple of Birmingham players in there is interesting. Where did Birmingham finish in the league? Birmingham finishing 13th, but getting 2 players in the Team of the Year is a weird one. This guy feels like one that got away. Sean Keegan, only 20, 3 goals in 2 caps for England. Our scouts have let us down a little bit there. 30 goals in 34 appearances in his first season in the Premier League. Could have had him 2 years ago, and I guess this is the guy who's created all the assists for him. No, I don't see how this guy's in the... He's had an average of 6.66 and made it into the Premier League Team of the Year. That's why average ratings are meaningless, boys and girls. Veloso's dedicated his award to me. What a lovely, lovely boy. I don't want to talk to anybody about anything. And I guess the last thing we'll do before we hit continue and see if we can find any players is just try once again. Oh, can we now improve facilities? Our facilities have been maxed out for a little while, but we'll always ask to improve them. And stadium, build new stadium, please. Let's see what Mrs Wearmouth has got to say about... Oh, there you go. So our facilities were just downgraded and we've immediately gone in and asked to upgrade them again. Right, let's just see what she says about those. Fingers crossed we just get everything upgraded and a nice new ground. It should be named after me. Right. They don't want to improve my training facilities. Why? That's ridiculous. We want better players. We need... Therefore, we reject your request. What are you thinking, Mrs Wearmouth? We need the best facilities. This isn't... Right, so we can have better youth development, but not better training. And apparently we still don't need a bigger ground. We believe our ambitions... But we're maxing out the ground. Do us a new ground. So what's that done... Was that... Oh, that's Team of the Week. What's that done to... That's our youth facilities been bumped back up. So now we've only got superb training facilities rather than state-of-the-art like we had before. So we have made it to the 9th of June, transfer window opening day. And as you can see, we've spent a big pile of cash, £55 million on João Figueira, who is an 18-year-old Wonderkid. Who'd have thought we'd bring an 18-year-old Wonderkid in? He's a right winger. He can play as a winger on that side. He can play as an inside forward over there. He can play as an attacking midfielder, striker. We've brought him in really as an option for if Park does end up forcing through a move away from the club. We've got Francisco who can play out on the right. We've got Perez who could play there. Sydney will come back and he can play there. But we needed a real top-level Wonderkid, and I think that's what we've got with Figueira. 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. You can see he's already almost as good as, or he already is as good as Madness over on the left, almost as good as Kleber. Not a million miles away behind the likes of Ian and Juan Jose. He was previously at Benfica, spent last season out on loan at Empoli in Italy, so done the tour of the second tiers, and we've just spent 55 million on him because we're at the point now where that's how much these kind of players cost. We're not going to bring in a lot each summer. But the ones that we do bring in, we want them to be awesome. And he is awesome. Awesome. Other news, we'll get on to the other inbox messages in a second, but Sir Harrison Davies has announced his retirement from playing, and as part of that happening, he has ticked over to having staff attributes. There's his staff attributes. They're nothing to write home about, but he has agreed a contract to become an under-18 youth coach for us, starting on his retirement date, which is the 28th of June. So 28th of June, he'll retire as a player. He's going to become an under-18 coach, similar to the past Slam Dunk took before. He's got a 3-year contract due to start there, and then we'll just see where he ends up. He's got his eyes on being a manager in his future, so he might go the route of Slam Dunk. He's also apparently going to be a half-decent assistant manager as well, so it might be an interesting option to develop him into being an assistant manager for us. He's nowhere near that kind of level yet. It's going to take a while to get him ready, and we'll see how he gets on down in the under-18s. In fact, seeing that that's happened, I wonder if any of these other guys have now ticked over to having their staff attributes. See, Kieran Hodgkinson's on the transfer list. I feel like we should probably be bringing him home. 170,000. He's had his few years away. Do we want to bring Kieran Hodgkinson back in? What about Nathan Curry? I want these guys here when they retire so that we can control what they do next. Nathan Curry is not on the transfer, so he's actually playing. That's Hodgkinson again. Let's bring Kieran Hodgkinson back. I think that's completely reasonable to bring Kieran Hodgkinson home at this stage. Let's just check Curry as... I'm pretty sure Curry was still playing. Yeah, he played 20 games for Austria Vienna last season, so Nathan Curry can have another year having his little adventure, but Kieran Hodgkinson can take over as a mentor, similar to what Sir Harrison Davies has been doing this season, and hopefully have a lovely impact doing that. And then I did notice on here that we've had an offer in for Kovacic. It's going to be interesting to see if it's a proper offer or silly offers like we got in January. Remember, last summer, we managed to push the offers up as high as 160 million and we're still turning them down. By the time we got to January, the offers were like 15, 20 million. So I wonder where Kovacic's value is seen now. 11 million pounds. I mean, I know I said we might have to cut our losses, but I'm not cutting them that far. We want big money for him, and I don't think we're going to get big money for him. So on that basis, we'll just let his contract run down. He's got 3 years left on his contract. He can just be miserable for 3 years if he wants, but we're not letting him go for that kind of money. It's just not going to happen. Well, boys and girls, it is a sad day. Finally, we have the retirement as a player of Sir Harrison Davies. As you can see, there's confirmation that he has taken on a new contract as an under-18s coach on very little money. He's not in it for the money. He's in it for the love. But what a career. He played 447 times for us in a playing career which spanned 20 years, almost all of it here at home, apart from his couple of years on holiday in Turkey. 447 appearances, 83 goals from centre-back. I would suggest at least 81 of them were headers from corners. It was his trademark because he was an enormous giant. He was our captain as we came up through the leagues in back-to-back promotions, and just, oh, what a hero. 23 times he played for Sivasspor in Turkey. It does mean as well that he's got full knowledge of Turkey when it comes to scouting knowledge, which, if we get any Turkish youngsters through, you can assume they're Harrison Davies' influence. I love the fact that his preferred tactical style is Gegenpress, and he wants to do a 5-3-2. He's basically picked the tactical style that he would have fitted into as a player, as one of the three in that 5-3-2. He'd have two players to do all his running for him, but Harrison Davies is a coach, boys and girls. It's a wonderful thing. Did he actually? Does it mention what he actually won? He's got his individual accolades. So these are the things that he won. He was in the team that won the championship, the National League, the FA Trophy twice, the Southern League Division 1 Central, National League North, Southern League Cup, Southern Premier League Central, 9-time Wearmouth Cup winner. Thank you, Sir Harrison. Kieran Hodgkinson's back as well. I think I announced that properly. He is back. He's, let's try and find him. There he is. There he is. Kieran Hodgkinson's back, but not yet showing as having any interest in any kind of coaching, which is interesting. We might have brought him back for no good reason. He's in on a 2-year contract. If he's got no intention of becoming a coach, then he doesn't really need to be here. But he's here. He can do some mentoring. I imagine it won't do any harm. There's space for him if he decides he wants to move into that kind of role. I don't think we're going to be doing much in the way of transfers. I'm sat here, don't really need anybody. Got 25 million to spend, don't really want to spend it on anyone really. We brought one player in. It'd be nice to calm these two boys down, but I don't really know what I can do about it. He's got 22 clubs who are interested in him. They all just keep making pathetic offers, so I'm not going to sell him. It's been a very quiet summer for Park, who, I mean, he's still got a lot of big clubs interested in him, but they're none of them are making any offers. So I wonder if maybe the story around Park will quieten down. If it does, I'm probably not against letting Kovacic leave on the cheap, just purely for a morale thing. But I'll just always have that £160 million that we turned down. And it wasn't like it was an isolated deal. They'd laddered up from like 60 million over the course of the summer. And all the media reports are linking him with £86 million deals. We can't be selling him for 12 million. I think if we decide he's going, we've got to push for big money. We're letting a youth player go because he's got 2-star potential, so we don't care about him at all. Keeping an eye on some of these other youngsters as they come through, but that's about it. I feel like this summer's about to explode any moment with something ridiculous happening. Of course, we might not be able to bring in many players this summer, but we have quite a few knocking around in our development centre. Look at the amount of players down here who are actually Wonderkids. It's absolutely ridiculous that we've got as many Wonderkids as we have just knocking about the place. I don't even know who Fraser Cassidy is. Fraser Cassidy came through our youth team, apparently. He's a Wonderkid. We've got an actual English Wonderkid. I didn't know he existed. He was on loan at Burnley last year in the Premier League. I am such a great football manager. 2 goals from 16 starts in the Premier League. That doesn't scream Wonderkid at me. I hope he was playing in central midfield, but he's got 5-star potential. He's only 19. We've got another one, Craig Concannon, who's only 5'7" and reckons he can play centre-back. Craig, you ain't playing centre-back, but he is another English Wonderkid who presumably has come through our youth system as well. There he is. Was out on loan at Coventry in the Championship last year. He's another one who definitely wants to have been playing in central midfield. Not quite as much potential as we've got out of Cassidy, but a couple of good options there. And then we've got the players that we already knew about. So Pedro Guerrero, who we brought in a few years ago. If Kovacic does leave, Guerrero needs to come back into the squad as your backup to Primus. He's still showing as 5-star potential, had a season on loan, a full season playing in La Liga. So that's going to do him the world of good. Mark Kelly has now made an appearance for Scotland, 20 years old now. He came in as a right back for £15 million a couple of years ago, went out to the MLS, has been on loan at Bournemouth as well. He's back at the club for us to have a little look at him. Simon Hanna is probably the one that I'm most likely to bring into the first team squad. A 6'2" centre-back who's come through our youth system, 7 international caps already for Northern Ireland, still showing us that 5-star potential. Was part of the Hearts team last year. They immediately tried to bring him back on loan again, but we've said no. I think Simon Hanna probably replaces Douglas Allen in the first team squad, and is a reason to move Douglas Allen on. If we have a look at where he stacks up on the star ratings, 2.5 stars puts him level with Erkan and Douglas Allen, and a little bit behind Elias, Fazekas and Kovacic as a potential starting centre-back, but he's got the highest potential of all of them. Keep an eye on Simon Hanna. This is the guy I keep going on about who won runner-up in the next gen. Marcelo Antonio is 21 now, and I think probably, you know what, although he's got decent current ability, he's not enough to be in the team. His potential ability is dropping. He might be done. Did we look at Emil Christensen? Still showing 5-star potential as well. 15 caps for Norway. He was at Lens last year, playing a full season for them, or Lens, if we're going to be properly French, and we love to be properly French. And then the highest recommendation of all is Björn Hoffman, who, as a striker, probably needs to temper his expectations a little bit. They got 17 goals in the Championship for Forest last season. Has a value of £34.5 million at 21 years old. Just the one under 21 cap for Germany, but he did score. Only 4-star potential now. I mean, maybe. I don't know. He's 6'4" and really quick. So definitely my kind of player. Just a little. I mean, he got a 7.34. I'm just a little bit concerned. Only 17 goals. Where did Forest finish? So it's 7th place. It's a decent Forest side that apparently he played well in, just didn't really score very many goals. But Jörn Hoffmann is another one who could have an argument for being drafted into that first team squad. So we've got options. We've got Wonderkids just lying around that we can bring in if we decide we want them. The media in this game are as stupid as the media in real life. Look at this from Molly Rose, our press officer, who's reporting Atalanta could be discussing a mega money deal, which could be worth a stunning £200 million for Kovacic. The offer comes in 10.75 million. Where's this stunning 200 million that we were just talking about? Atalanta. I know you're good for it. Molly told me. Come on. That's how much he costs. Oh, you're not interested. Who'd have thought? Well, we've had one long-serving homegrown fullback leave the club this summer at least. Todd Thomas has gone to Leicester. 1.4 million. It's not a very big deal, but then the fact he's gone in valued at 2 million suggests he wasn't actually a very good player either. I mean, he was fine. He was a lovely attacking option for us for a number of years. I mean, he was a regular starter for us in the Premier League for 4 years. It's only Vinicius Antonio appearing that pushed him out of the team. As a result of him leaving, it's also allowed me to bring Mark Kelly up into the first team squad as well as a backup to Antonio. We've also brought Simon Hanna, Marcelo Antonio, and the striker Hoffman have all come up into the first team squad as well. Hoffman being here does make me think we can probably let Francisco go, because I think if we're looking at the two of those players, they can both play identical roles to each other. And as you can see, Hoffman is considerably better for everything apart. I mean, Francisco's fast. We know Francisco's faster. And unbelievably, it's 6'1" compared to 6'4", a little bit more physical as well. But Hoffman destroys him for mentals, aerial, technical, attacking. They've got the same vision. Hoffman's 2 years younger, 3 years younger, 2 years younger. And he's got potential. So I guess Hoffman is going to replace Francisco in the squad. Kelly replaces Todd Thomas. Francisco, you can see there's an offer in for him from Villa. It's only a loan offer at the moment. We're trying to offer him out for transfer. Kovacic we want to keep hold of, but if he goes, Pedro Guerrero can come into the squad to replace him. Wolves are actually about to offer something closer to good money. We've been turning down £100 million bids for Park from Real Madrid. And of course, with Figueira, we've already signed a replacement for him earlier on in the summer. We just need to move another defender on to make room for Simon Hanna, because I want him to get games. There's too many players in his way ahead of him. So if anyone wants to buy Douglas Allen off me, I've not offered him out, but maybe I should. I think we need to get Douglas Allen out of the way to make room for Simon Hanna. He's a player that we're not necessarily getting rid of because we don't want to use him. It's more a case of he is getting in the way of someone who's going to be better. We just need to give him a route into the first team. That's the plan. It is the greatest day. Okay, we did just win the Premier League. Not quite the greatest day. Park Seung-Rul, I don't know how to say his full name. Park wants to stay at home. He has withdrawn his transfer request. Oh, one down. Get a new contract in front of that boy immediately. He can have whatever he wants. Yeah, 5 years. You can't have that. We can't afford that, apparently. Yeah, 200. That's fine. 200 grand. Yeah, whatever. Have it. One of them done. Now I am happier with the idea of selling Kovacic for a lower amount, especially because we've got Pedro Guerrero ready to come in as a backup for Primus. Maybe we will sell Kovacic. Maybe we will. What offers have we got here? They're pathetic. Right. Let's drop the asking price. We've got the asking price at 200 million at the moment. What's our record sale? I think it's still Aberguy. I don't know. Gregoire might have been more. What's our record sale? Record sale is... Oh, no, it is Aberguy. 91.5 million for Aberguy, who, by the way, we were looking at earlier in the summer, but he didn't want to discuss anything until after the Euros. So have the Euros happened now? No, the Euros are still ongoing. So England have been knocked out of them. But apparently he's just enjoying watching the Euros. Fair enough, Enoch. We'll keep that in mind. But Kovacic, if we get 92 million for him, it'll be our record sale. And we've got Primus ready to replace him. And it gets a grumpy boy out of the way. But I'm not accepting a penny below 92 million for now. Watch me change my tune again anytime. Right, no one wants Douglas Allen. Not even if you just pay his... I mean, just let's try again. I mean, that's great. Good job this isn't a tutorial. That's great business there. Just do exactly the same again and hope it works second time round. Right, Francisco, we've not sold him, but Villa are going to pay all of his wages to have him on loan for a year. It makes room for Hoffman. This might actually be the perfect scenario, because if Hoffman doesn't work out, Francisco comes back into the team for the season after. So that actually might be perfect. Francisco can go and score an absolute ton of goals for Villa, and we'll see how it is when he gets back. He's still only 23. He could still go on and be our Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, as we talked about in the last episode. So that's a pretty decent deal. And now Hoffman gets the vote of confidence, knowing that why are these in such a weird order? Hoffman is now our third choice striker, effectively. I probably should have checked this before. He wants to be he's another support striker. Should have checked that before. Has Francisco gone? I guess Jovanovic will have to play as an advanced forward, which we have done with him a few times. So I guess we've still got Camacho around as well. We've got too many players. Does anyone want some players? We've got like the opposite problem of what we were having before now. Players like Douglas Allen, we can't even convince him to go out on loan to little clubs like Chelsea. Ah, dear me. Okay, we've got lots of defenders then. We have managed to trim one or two players off the wage bill. Not that that's necessarily even an issue. We've got plenty of spare wage budget, transfer budget, money in the bank. We want a slightly bigger squad this year to allow us to compete in multiple competitions, but I also don't want players getting unhappy because they're getting nowhere near the first team. And that was the thinking behind Jordi going to Inter Milan, £20 million. He apparently had one good game for Paris Saint-Germain, but not enough to convince them to pay for him. We've taken a big loss on Jordi, probably the biggest flop of the series transfer-wise, but I take solace in the fact he came in at the same time as Juan Jose for big money. And if you look at it this way, we spent like £110 million on those two players, got 20 million back, and have kept a fantastic support striker. I'd pay 90 million for him now. So it's all good value. It all works. I think I'd already told you Francisco had gone as well, hadn't I? And we brought in another player as well, Eduardo Perez, just another young South American striker / winger. You know what I'm like with these ones. He's quick and he's not actually as quick as I thought he was, but his finishing's rubbish. So he fits right into my normal box. He's just going to come in and go straight out on loan. I doubt you'll ever see him play a game of football. They're getting harder to pick now because the star ratings are less useful. It's weird. The bigger we've got as a club, the less useful the star ratings have got. So this guy's wanted by AC Milan. We might be able to do the same thing again. He's currently 3-star current ability, 5-star potential, or it could be 2-star, 2-star, because he's got the white out stars as well. So we need to scout him some more. But it's just, I don't know if he's ever going to be good enough for us. The fact Milan want him means I'll probably just take the plunge just to get there ahead of Milan. We've got plenty of money and 6 transfers like this we can do this summer. So I think we're probably just going to get in ahead of AC Milan and sign him anyway, which we've done a couple of times now. If there's a club interested, let's just offer him that 13 million on the Never Never. It's a complete gamble. My theory being, if AC Milan want him now, there'll probably be someone else of a similar sort of size who wants him further down the road. But apparently we're not going to get him for that kind of price. Has he got a release clause? I think he might have just signed a new contract with the club that he's at, because normally we can get him if we offer that kind of money. Let's just offer them a flat 10 million. 10 million up front, see if we get him that way. If not, I assume he's just signed a new contract with him and we won't get him anyway. It's a beautiful end to a troubling story. Park has signed his new 5-year contract worth £66 million. I couldn't care less what happens with Kovacic now. We've got the one that we wanted. Our key player is going to be staying here for the remainder of the save. There you go. Eduardo Perez can go out on loan as well. We've got one grumpy boy at the club now. And we've just had the report through saying about the remarkable progress Primus is making. I think at this point, I don't know. Do we just get him gone? If we don't sell him to a Premier League club, let's do the comparison between him and Primus, just to see what we're missing if we let him go. So, Kovacic, much better defender, much better physical. He's so much better than him at the moment. Primus is a much better attacking wing-back, which, of course, is what we actually want from our defenders. He's quicker, better vision, better attacking, better technicals. It's almost as if Kovacic is a centre-back, but a slightly small one. So on that basis, let's compare Kovacic to, I don't know, Enoch Abagai. Very, very similar. Let's compare Kovacic to, I don't know, Elias. Or Erkan. Erkan was there. So he's a much better defender than Erkan. How about Elias? He's a better you know what? Kovacic probably is the best centre-back we've got. But at 5'11", does that rule us out of using him there? Oh, I don't know what to do. It's my favourite thing. They've got their personality types below them on the hierarchy chart. So Park's the realist, Perez is determined, Williams is professional, Kovacic, loyal. The only loyal player on the list. The most loyal man at the football club. He's the guy who wants to leave. Loyalty. Well, I think this is about the 4th time in this save now I've been offered the England job. This time it's Frank Lampard who's moved on, presumably sacked. Let's have a little look. Frank Lampard resigned from the role and he's just unemployed. So England clearly flopping. But there's been some England managers in the 20 years of this save. Southgate surviving nearly 8 years before he resigned and won the World Cup, won the Euros and the World Cup. Carlo Ancelotti did it for 4 years and won nothing. Jose Mourinho did it for 2 years and won the Nations League, but then still moved on. I don't know who this guy is. Gaika Garitano? I don't know. Never heard of this guy. Who is he in real life? Athletic Bilbao manager. No idea. He didn't win anything either. Sean Dyche got to do it for 2 years and didn't win anything. Quique Sanchez Flores did it for 1 year and then retired. Why take the job? That's a ridiculous appointment. Takes the job, presumably, would that be a World Cup year? So he took the job after the World Cup and then just retired midway through qualifying. Eric Ten Hag also did just 1 year before getting sacked, presumably after flopping at the Euros. Frank Lampard's done it for 4 years and not won anything. Got relegated from the top level of the Nations League. My word. They're still ranked 7th in the world, but clearly Gareth Southgate is the only one who can win anything with England. Picking up 2 trophies, but 3, I guess, if you count the Nations League, which nobody does. So 2 trophies back to back. Were World Cup runners-up, actually, in 2038. So Lampard took them to another World Cup final, but lost. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to manage England. Just thought it was interesting. I keep getting offered the job. For goodness sake. We solve the park issue, and then AC Milan offer a quite insulting £40 million Sandro Veloso, which I turned down, and now he's unhappy that he didn't get to join them, and 6 players agree with him. Fantastic. Well, we might have made things even worse here. I mean, selling him is not an option. Ridiculously, one of the guys, I guess, Jovanovic, it's all the other strikers agree with him. They all want his spot. Yeah, let him go. 40 million, though. It's ridiculous. Oh, no. We're 4.5-star reputation now, and we've just won the Premier League. Why would he want to go to Milan? We're genuine Champions League contenders. He's still scoring goals in the Wearmouth Cup, so we don't need to worry too much, I hope. I hope he sorts himself out, because the idea of having to find another striker now does not bear thinking about. He is our goal scorer. We would be asking an awful lot of Jovanovic to play in a role that he's not natural in, to score a quantity of goals he's never scored before. I mean, to be honest, looking at this squad, even if we got an injury to Veloso, we've got a problem. Let's hope he doesn't leave or get injured. Right, here we go then. Let's see if I can cheer these numbskulls up. So, yeah, that you're unhappy. I didn't want to lose Sandro. No, I'm not going to sell him. I'm surprised there's a group of you wanting to see him leave. Would be a much poorer side. Yeah, that one. That's pleased everyone apart from Marcelo Antonio. I don't really care what he thinks. I'm not going to say. You're right. It'd be a big loss. Sorry for questioning you. Goran, you are a good boy. I just want to say, yes, this is okay now. I think that's very productive. It's good to have sorted it all out. I don't really care about Antonio. So we've satisfied the ones that are actual first team players. Had a slightly negative effect on Hoffman as well. But if we go back here, there's now 2 players who agree with Veloso. Ian wasn't even in that meeting, was it? Oh, he was. But Ian was fine. Well, Kleber might be starting a little bit more this season. If Ian's now going to be a troublemaker. What is going on here? Alex Williams is a superstar. He's persuaded Veloso he doesn't want to leave. If you're not sure how to do that, I'll demonstrate it now. I didn't think it was going to work, which is why I didn't do it on camera. We'll try it again with Kovacic. So if we just navigate through to Captain Fantastic Alex Williams, that might be the biggest contribution Alex Williams makes to this series. So you go to discuss, teammate happiness, wants to leave club. If he manages to convince Kovacic as well, that I'm an idiot for not doing this a year ago. So we'll click that option. And no. Well, it was probably too much to be true. Kovacic has just dug his heels in and decided he's going. I don't think there's anything we can do to keep Kovacic at the club at this point. I think we're probably causing problems by not letting him go. Let's see. I don't know, 75 million? I think that's still a great deal. If we can get 75 million for him, we could then just use that to go and buy Abagai. I think we'd probably get Abagai for 75. I have no idea if that's true. I feel like we could, maybe. A 16-year-old Brazilian. Not got 5-star potential, though, so who cares? Why do these old men still come up on my scout report? Ridiculous. Right, are we getting any offers in for Kovacic at 75 million? I just want troublemakers gone. I can say that now. Veloso's not a troublemaker anymore. Beforehand, I was willing to go into the season with 2 grumpy boys again. But now I want to go in grumpy boy free. I'm getting more and more confused about what the right thing to do with Kovacic is, because the situation has been double complicated by shenanigans that are going on. Shenanigan 1, I've made an offer for Abagai that involves Kovacic. It very much favours Inter. They are definitely going to be getting the best part of the deal. It's 23.5 million up front, 50 million on instalments plus Kovacic. In my mind, I'm valuing Kovacic at like the 25 million that we've been turning down, which means we're buying Abagai back for a little more than we sold him for, which I guess is about right. He's now in the prime of his career. He is a 4-star current ability centre-back, 47 England caps, regular starter for England, regular starter for Inter in Serie A for the last several years, presumably world class. Doesn't show as world class, but, 47 England caps. To me, that's a top tier centre-back, better than any defender that we've got at the club. So to bring him back in for 100 million when we sold him for, or phrase it this way, to bring him back in for only 8 million more than we sold him for 6 years ago, that seems all right. But valuing Kovacic at only 20 million ignores the fact that we turned down 160 million last summer. But we kind of have to forget about that now, because this summer we've only been getting offers in the 10 to 25 million range. So I think I'm probably valuing him fairly in my mind. But the area where it becomes even more complicated is somehow, while all this is going on, there's now only 2 clubs with minor interest in Kovacic. So now I'm thinking, if we don't follow through on this deal with Inter, does he then do what Park did earlier in the summer and say, well, now nobody's properly interest seems to have been dropped, so I guess I'll stay, come off the transfer list and become a superstar, because he's also a 4-star current ability, left back, who can also play centre back. I guess we need a centre back more, because we've got Guerrero, we've got Primus, we've got 2 very good left backs. So I guess we need Abagai more than we need Kovacic, maybe. Let's compare the 2 again. I think we did this earlier in the video, but it was hours ago for me. So exactly the same for mentals. Kovacic is slightly better defending and physicals. Speed is the same. Enoch has slightly better vision. They're the same for attacking. Abagai's technically better. They're exactly the same in the air. They're both 5'11". We're really grasping at straws here. Kovalic's slightly heavier. He's left-footed. He's right-footed. To be fair, I'd like my covering centre-back to be on the right-hand side so I can push my right wing back forward the way I always do. So that's actually a pro. If we have a look at the actual attributes, I mean, Kovalic's a long throw merchant. Abagai can take free kicks. It's so frustrating. They're very, very similar. But I guess a couple of important differences. Abagai, we're going to be paying £275,000 a week. He'll be our highest paid player by like 50 grand a week ahead of Park, whereas we're only paying Kovacic 60,000. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. What I know I am going to do is not play him today in the Community Shield, because it just seems like a bad idea. So we've actually got half the team away on international duty. I assume, is it the Olympics maybe that's on? And this is going to be a problem for us at the start of the new season, because Perez, Elias, Guerrero, Kleber, Madness, Figueroa and Ian are all away on international duty, presumably at the Olympics. They're all away with their under-23 teams. I guess this is going to be a problem with filling the team with Wonderkids. So I'm actually going to give a debut to Simon Hanna against Manchester United at Wembley. He's going to play at centre-back, because the other option would be Kovacic or Douglas Allen. Douglas Allen is on his way out of the club. We've accepted a couple of £30 million offers for him. He's going to be leaving. Fazekas, I guess, could play, but Fazekas is just going to be my utility man who's here forever now, I think. I don't ever expect to start Fazekas in a game of football again unless we're absolutely desperate. So I think this is the team that we're going for. It does mean Alex Williams returns in goal to play at Wembley. You know what I am going to do? There's no point having a substitute goalkeeper. Let's get Kieran Hodgkinson on that bench. What's the harm? So we're going with Williams in goal, a back four of Primus, Hanna, Erkan and Vinicius Antonio, Perez and McKenna in midfield, Juan Jose and Park out wide, and then Jovanovic and Veloso up front. Don't read too much into this game today, because obviously we've got half of our team missing, whereas Manchester United are likely to have an older squad. And yeah, they might have a couple of players off at the Olympics. They're not going to be missing 9 players the way we are. So don't read too much into if we get absolutely thumped. Obviously, if we win 3-0 with a very rotated looking team, then I'm a hero. We're going to win everything. I'm a genius, etc., etc. That's a good interception from Hannah there. What a way to introduce yourself. 20 seconds into your debut at Wembley against Manchester United, and you come in with a dominant tackle like that. I know he's an academy boy, so I'm always going to favour him over the non-academy lads. But my word, that was a way to make a good first impression. And it's kind of indirectly led to a scoring inside the first minute. Sandro Veloso, who doesn't want away anymore, on 46 seconds, I think that was. Erkan to Hannah, forward to Perez, and then Perez with a lovely ball forward. That's taken beautifully by Veloso. How Milan could think he was only worth 40 million, I don't know. What made him think that Milan weren't? It was an insulting amount of money. 40 million. My goodness me. I'm sat here in real life reading about Aaron Ramsdale going to Arsenal for 30 million, thinking, I mean, how is Veloso only 40 million in that way? We're 20 years in the future here as well. I'd expect him to go for 500 million if that's the price point players are being given. Veloso's in again, and he's scored again, and it's 2 goals inside the first 2 minutes. Like I said, you need to read a lot into today's game because we're playing a second-string team against Manchester United, and we're going to go and absolutely ruin them. This is the first time in a long time we've put out a match day squad that doesn't have any unhappy want-away players in it. Obviously, Park now wants to stay. Kovacic, I've deliberately excluded from the 16 because I just didn't want him involved. I think that probably tells you, after my little mini breakdown before, where I don't know what to do, I guess my gut instinct tells you enough. The fact I didn't want him involved today. If I now don't want to use him for big matches, then I guess there's no point in him being at the club anymore. No matter how good he is on paper, no matter how good his attributes are, he's never got a good average rating over the course of a season in his career. And I now don't trust him. So that tells me he's finished. If Abagai was here right now, he would absolutely be playing at centre-back alongside Erkan. So I think we've probably found out everything we needed to know there. Number 36, that is Erkan. 35 is Hannah. I thought Hannah had just made a brilliant last-ditch tackle as well. I'm cancelling the Abagai deal if Hannah's a superstar. Because, of course, we've got Harrison Davies now working away in the background doing some coaching. In my mind, he's one-to-one mentoring Hannah to bring him through as his spiritual successor. I know he's supposed to be coaching the under-18s, but Hannah's only 19. I'm sure their paths cross plenty during the course of a normal working day. Park's been fouled there, and Veloso has the opportunity to make this a hat-trick inside 11 minutes at Wembley in the Community Shield, and he does. 3-1 to home now. This isn't the kind of game where you'd want to get into the ground late and, I'll just queue for a coffee. I know there was a queue to get into the car park, but I'll just queue for a coffee quickly. Doesn't matter if I miss the first few minutes. It's not as if anything's going to happen in the first few minutes. Take your seat 11 minutes in and it's already 3-1. What a ridiculous game. Ball's in the back of the net again. Williams, bless him, doesn't know whether he's coming or going there, does he? But remember, Alex Williams is a hero now. Every goal, Sandra. I know we've still got the I Hate Alex Williams club because of what happened way back when, 10, 11 years ago now. You got to blank that out of your mind because from now on, every goal Sandro Veloso scores, you thank Alex Williams for, because without him doing his magic, he might not have been here scoring them, or he might have been here kicking up a fuss, being a troublemaker, and all that nonsense. So it's all thanks to Alex Williams. He deserves an assist on every Veloso goal for the rest of the season. We should be tracking them independently and making sure that Alex Williams takes his place at the top of the all-time assists chart, the place he deserves to be. Right, United are dancing past our defence again here. But Williams makes the save. Super. I mean, I'm tempted to knight him for it. I'm tempted to make him Sir Alex Williams, but I think there'd be a revolt. I don't think I can push it that far. He's not really up to being a goalkeeper at this level anymore, is he? Bless him. 3-2 now on 22 minutes. I don't think either of us are taking this game as seriously as we could be. It seems to be very, very free scoring. Love a little bit of Community Shield action, but yeah, right. We've got injuries. Juan Jose has picked up a tight calf. We don't really want any injuries being picked up in this game, but the fact that Juan Jose is on the left-hand side to begin with indicates just how few options we've got out there today. But that will also, it's also an indication of how few options we're going to have out there for the first day of the season as well. So we probably need him more for the league next weekend. Much can apparently play on the left wing. Well, who knew? I don't know when he's learned to do that, but Jamie Much is going to come on and play on the left wing. Why not? An inside forward? Is that what he likes to be when he's out there? He wants to be a playmaker. Well, that ain't going to happen. Be an inside forward, Jamie. Let's see what you can do. What an opportunity for Jamie Much to get into the team. And, I mean, you never know. He might be the answer on the left-hand side. In a year's time, he might be talking about, remember Ian, remember Kleber? Remember how they went to the Olympics and Jamie Much took their spot, and that was that, because he was a superstar. I'd like that. That would please me. I like having British players in the squad. It's 3-3 now. Remember, don't read too much into today's game, because we've got a lot of players away at the Olympics. So, you know, you can't really judge us on a performance day. We've got a debutant at centre-back, a young lad who, if the transfer that we're trying to pull off does go through, he's certain not to play next week. So don't read too much into it. I would never, ever dream of telling you otherwise. Right, United with the clearance again from the free kick. And that's sloppy from Perez. He needs to win that back because he's caused problems for Antonio there. This is all on Perez. And it's now 4-3 to Manchester United. And it gets ridiculouser and ridiculouser. There's always goals in matches between these two teams. And it looks like we've decided just to put on a little bit of a show. It's the Charity Shield or the Community Shield, whatever it's got. It's the Community Shield now, isn't it? But the Charity Shield. Let's put on a show for charity. It's all for a good cause. Perez is struggling out there today. Not for fitness, just for not being rubbish. Much should just be glaring at him every time Perez does something dumb and just making notes that he can then present to me on Monday morning in my office for reasons why he should be starting alongside McKenna in midfield this season, because Perez is having a nightmare there today, just constantly giving the ball away. And United are in again here. This is troublesome. This is very troublesome. Primus with the clearance now, but it's straight to a red shirt. And they're just going to keep the attack rolling on, apparently, because the highlight continues. And it's now down our left-hand side again. And, I mean, what difference does a happy Kovacic make down there? Are we willing to cancel that deal to get one of the best young left-backs in the world back in our team, firing on all cylinders? Is it worth it? Or do we go with Primus, who played there for so much of last... Let's face it, Primus played 30 games last year and we won the Premier League. So I guess he's all right. He's a Premier League winning left-back. That's fine. Williams makes the save from the free kick, but it's behind for a corner for United. And it just feels like there's another goal coming, doesn't it? Should we bring Kieran Hodgkinson on? I don't think he ever got to play for us at Wembley. Maybe he did. Maybe he played in a playoff final or an FA trophy or something here. And Veloso now turns and runs and he's clobbered. Red card referee. He was absolutely through on goal there. I mean, it wasn't, but it would have been nice if the referee had given us a little bit of favour. But no, it's United who come at us again. And we do struggle when they come at us like this. We've had it before in the league. And now we've had it in the Champions League, and now we're getting it in the big one, the Community Shield, and it's now 5-3 to Manchester United. We don't want to watch any more replays. Thank you very much, because I'm not enjoying them at the moment. We've had 4 shots on target and scored 3 times. They've very much been the better team, but let's not let that get us down. They're going to put 7 past us again, aren't they? I can feel it happening now. The way the game is shaping up. At least this time we've got the excuse that Alex Williams is in goal. I'm thinking of taking off Hannah to protect him. He's had his time in the time of fun. He's had his debut. His time will come again, but maybe for the rest of this afternoon it should be Fazekas at the back, just so we don't ruin the youngster on his debut. Fazekas can come on, and yeah, he can just do that. Just trying to think in terms of not wrecking the poor kid's career. Fazekas, he's already just a a utility man who's here to make up the numbers. I'm not particularly keen on selling him at any point. But like I say, he's never going to be part of the first team starting plans again. He's just here because he's useful, because he can play anywhere across the back four. And Veloso's in again here. Can Veloso add a fourth of the afternoon? It's actually gone across to Park. Park skins his man and has won another penalty. That's twice this afternoon. Park has won us a penalty, and presumably it's going to be Veloso to take again with the opportunity to add his fourth of the afternoon. It would be his second from the penalty spot, and that is a red card now for Manchester United with 27 minutes to go. And how significant might that end up being? Veloso from the penalty spot scores again. Manchester United 5, Holme 4, 27 minutes left. Man United down to 10 men. Fazekas is now on for Hannah, and who knows what's going to happen from here. It's been a ridiculous match so far, and I imagine there's more ridiculous in this yet. We've still only had 5 shots on target and scored 4 times. Right, this is the game where we can bring on loads of players, isn't it? So we're going to make loads of changes now. I am going to bring on Camacho, and I also want to bring on Marcelo. And are we allowed to do another change? How many are we allowed? I think we're allowed 1 more, aren't we? Much is not having much of a good time. You like that one? I'm tempted to bring Kieran Hodgkinson on, but I don't know who I'd bring him on for. Perez, maybe? There you go. Kieran Hodgkinson can come on and get a comeback game, playing in his good old deep-lying playmaker role where we all love him so much. Right, there we go. We're now effectively both down to 10 men with Hodgkinson on. We are going to go attacking because that never goes badly against Manchester United. We're going to demand more. And wouldn't it be lovely to see Kieran Hodgkinson add another one to his home tally after, what's it been, 2-3 years away? But it is a United corner, 86 minutes gone, and everybody on both teams misses it. But then Camacho gets it clear. I think probably taking Park off has taken a lot of the sting out of our attack, but there was no reason to keep him on. We don't care about winning this game, really. Although Veloso is in. Can he add number 5? Veloso! He can't. I mean, that would have been insane if he grabs a 5th goal against Manchester United. It's a corner. It's Antonio. Diaz is there, but can't direct his header goals. I think that was probably our final chance. Somehow our XG... I mean, I guess I was going to say somehow our XG is almost level with theirs. We've had 2 penalties. That's how. Because we've had relatively few attacks. Much now. On the left-hand side, first time we've really seen him do anything on that left wing, and he plays it back to Camacho, who's come out very wide. And here is Kieran Hodgkinson, ball over the top, back to Camacho. Hodgkinson can still hit a pass, boys and girls. He might be a little bit old and not very mobile anymore, but he's still got that pass that he always had. And, I mean, it would have been beautiful for him to lay one of the youngsters in after all these years, but was not to be. And I think this probably is ending 5-4. I do feel like we probably should have pushed a little bit harder to grab another goal once they went down to 10 men. But the narrative I'm telling is at that point, they just shut up shop and we don't need to see them lift the trophy. Thank you very much. I am a little disappointed we didn't win the trophy today because we were against 10 men. I don't want to see it be lifted. Excellent. And there we have it. Only out for a day for Juan Jose. Veloso is in goal scoring form. Hannah's made his debut. And now we just wait. The league season starts in a week. All of those boys at the Olympics are still going to be at the Olympics when the season starts. Maybe, possibly. They might be back, actually. So they're back. They're all back on the 12th. That game is on the 12th. So they might be available, actually. The question is, will Enoch Abagai or Slavomir I can't even remember his name. It's because I just said his first name and I've never said it before. Slavomir Kovacic. Will he be here or will it be Enoch Abagai? It's already been going on 10 days. One of them's dragging their feet. And I suggest it's probably not the guy I'm trying to bring in. Well, there we have it, boys and girls. 2 birds with 1 stone. Holme have signed Enoch Abagai from Inter Milan for £74 million, plus Slavomir Kovacic. Something about, what's this? Since they've transferred a non-EU player abroad, they can now bring another one in, blah, blah, blah. So he's back. Alex Williams is going to give him a pat on the head. Kovacic is gone, and more importantly than him, I don't know, arguably as important as the fact that he's gone is the fact he's gone and it's not to a Premier League side. So we're not having to put up with his ridiculous face, making the place look depressing throughout the season. The squad is now overloaded with players who can play as central defenders. Don't worry, we have a solution for that. Douglas Allen is on his way out as well. Thank you for your service, Douglas Allen. That's him done. But here is Enoch Abagai, number 5, back in a home shirt. We've signed a real top-tier player there. A star player for his country. A full-on England international. They all come home eventually. We've said it many times before. And there's your evidence of it. Once again, we have a 4-star centre-back. We had one all along, but now he's back. And the records will forever show we got him back in his prime for less than we paid for him. And we don't even have to be judged on what's happened with Kovacic because it was all hidden as part of the deal. And no one ever needs to know how much we got for him. And I think we've saved face. Look, he's valued at 3.6 million. That offer of 160 million last summer, I'll never understand it. I think he'll go in there and not even play for him regularly. I think we'll be signing him back in 2 years for 5 million. If he comes back with an apology and his tail between his legs. Because he's got the potential to be very good, but maybe he's not as good as we thought he was. We shall see. But that means that after much shuffling around over the course of the summer, our squad now looks like this. The weak spot really now is you've got to say in goal. It would be lovely to bring a better goalkeeper in, but the chances of us finding an 18-year-old better than Marcus Perez now at this stage of the save are close to 0. But he's capped out at 3 stars now. He's not going to go beyond that. He's hit his potential. Tristan McDonald's still knocking around the place. Shall we give him a try? He's 27 now, and is still here, ready for when Williams leaves. So that's probably our weakness. But we've now got a very good centre back. I mean, we could go back to Abagai and Fazekas like the good old days. Fazekas is considered, after everything I was saying, star rating wise, is ahead of Elias and Erkan and Douglas Allen. It's madness, but Abagai is the best defender we've got in all positions, apparently. Pedro Guerrero comes up into the first team squad to join Primus to compete at left back. At right back, we've got Vinicius Antonio and we've got Kelly. Now Todd Thomas has moved on. Centre backs, it's going to be Abagai, Fazekas, Elias, Erkan, Simon Hanna. Fazekas is effectively cover for all positions. In midfield, we go with McKenna, Perez. I would say Kleber's still a centre midfielder in my mind. Diaz, much. Camacho is apparently a centre midfielder, although I've been considering him a striker. Of course, Vinicius Antonio can play there as well. I moved Marcelo Antonio out when he kicked off a fuss about the Veloso thing, so he's got moved out on loan very quickly. On the left-hand side, Ian is my starter, but Madness has done a bit of a Mick Powell and is up there level on star rating with both Kleber and Ian. Kleber, of course, being able to play up there as well. New boy Figuera can also play on that left wing. Right-hand side, we know it's going to be Park, but behind him, it could be Juan Jose, it could be Figuera, it could be Perez, Ian. Up front, we've got Veloso, Juan Jose, Jovanovic, Marcelo, Camacho, Hoffman still knocking around as well. It's a very, very strong squad. I think we can win the Champions League with it. The media think we'll finish 5th in the Premier League. We won it last year. The media are idiots. Park's somehow not in the media dream 11. Well, I guess that's because the best player in the Premier League is this right winger at Norwich, who they've just signed for 144 million. So that's why interest in Park disappeared. They finally got their man. So this is the guy Arsenal sold to PSG a few years back. He's now back in the Premier League with Norwich. So that's taken Park's spot in there. But, I mean, how Veloso's not in up front, I don't know. Who's our next best player, according to this? Abagai. There you go. Abagai is not far away from being in the Dream 11 at centre-back. So that's our squad to go into the new season. We have got about 5 days left before the season starts, but I think it's safe to assume there's going to be no more transfers either in or out. We'll just let the Douglas Allen deal confirm, just so we can show the finances after all that. Marcelo is going to be on his way out on loan as well, just to get him some game time. He's going to be going out on loan to Monaco, who want to use him as a key player and pay his £100,000 a week salary. So they obviously see a lot in him. He can go and get some real game time playing for Monaco. It's a good move for him for a year. But this is our summer. We've spent 91 million. We've brought in 52 million. The bank balance is looking very healthy. The transfer budget, the wage budget, still plenty to spare for both of those. And there's more players we can bring in if they emerge as the season goes on. The under 21s the under 21 signings, we've only got 1, 2, 3. Oh, we did sign this guy. I think I showed you him. Gonzalo Velasco, the midfielder that we brought in from Boca, who Milan wanted. We brought him in as well. So he's around and about the place too. Probably not going to play this year, but another decent option for us. I think it's a good summer. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Would you have done the Abagai deal the way I did it? Would you have done the Kovacic deal the way I did it? I think there's going to be some discussion about that. But I think ultimately, disappointed with the finance involved to sell Kovacic. You don't know what the finances were. You don't know what I valued him at. Ridiculous. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.